Hey boys and girls, this is Gary Dean, PremiumCustomDetailing.com, Tampa, Florida. I'm here today with a brand spanking new Mercedes ML350. My client brought it straight from the dealership, and there was some talk on a forum about why a person would need to do an extensive detail on a brand new car. First of all, most of the time you're actually being suckered into paying for all this fancy detailing when you buy the car. So if you're going to get a new car, they are first of all going to charge you for the prep or whatever they call it. Basically all that means is they're going to take off the plastic and they're going to scratch your car all up washing it. So if you want to pay for swirl marks, that's cool, but I mean, I'd be happy to take a dirty rag and wipe her down if you want to pay me to do that. Except for the reason the car is here with me at my shop is so that I can fix any and all defects prior to applying OptiCoat Pro. And for those of you who know what OptiCoat Pro is, it essentially is another layer of clear coat that I can apply to the exterior of the paint by hand. That gives you not only extra scratch resistance, but it's a harder, thicker layer of clear coat that gives you more clear to work with, and waxes and sealants don't stick to it, so there's no reason to ever have to wax or seal. So that's a tremendous benefit when it comes to just the amount of elbow grease you have to put into the car for the maintenance. So anyway, this is a black metallic ML350, and from just what I went over with the owner, I could see, even though he asked the owner even though he asked the dealership not to prep the surface of the car at all, and as you can see, the factory stickers are still on it. I have pulled the plate, but it still has a lot of the plastic left, even though it was not prepped at the dealership. I'll grab my trusty Brinkmann dual xenon here. I will do my best to show you that there are scratches all over this thing. Do you see those scratches? Now, the dealer didn't prep this car per se, but do you see all those scratches? All those swirl marks? Yes, you can see those. No prep has been done to this car, and it is still scratched up. Now, keep in mind, when a car is painted at the factory, it has to be transported from that very second, at that very place, to the dealership. And between the time it gets painted and baked to the time it gets to the dealership could be months. You never know. And who knows what happened to this car? All I know is I gotta fix it before I can put OptiCoat Pro on the surface of this thing. If not, any defects I don't remove prior to OptiCoat will always be there, because OptiCoat Pro is permanent. It never goes away. So when you inquire about OptiCoat Pro, keep in mind you may be a little sticker shocked at what it costs, but just keep in mind also that it's permanent. It never goes away. That's a one-time fee that you pay for the correction and then the OptiCoat Pro. But anyway, now that I've showed you that one panel and all the scratches that are there, I won't bother moving around the car until I get this thing prepped, and then I'll show you. So right this second, what I've got to do is wash and decontaminate this car, clean the wheels, all of that stuff. And then after I get the prep process done, I'll start to tape up the hood and do some testing to see what combination is going to work best. From what I see, I know that I'm going to have to cut it lightly and then refine it with a polish. So this one is in for 2 steps of polishing and then OptiCoat Pro on all of the paint, all the glass, and all the wheels. So I'm going to not waste any more time. I'm going to get right on it. So stay tuned and we'll be back in just a bit. Dun, dun, dun. Alright, so I've got this ML350 all prepped, ready for polish. I've also got a couple of tape lines laid so that I can get some testing out of the way before I just go barreling through the clear coat. You always want to lay down some test areas and do testing with different products before you start cutting on the clear coat. It's very important that you use the least aggressive method possible before you start going with anything really aggressive. The point on this thing is to cut a little bit, but to polish a lot. So I definitely am doing 2 steps of correction, and the point of that is to get rid of what I showed you earlier. And now you can probably see a little bit better the scratches and the swirl marks that are in the paint. You can see all that haziness. And the random isolated deeper scratches. It is brand new, but it still has all these scratches in it. Now it's definitely not as bad as something that has been driven around and, you know, for a year or two and gone through all of the environmental BS. But it definitely has its issues. And I want to cut just a little bit of the clear coat off to get rid of, you see all that marring right there in the dip? I want to get rid of all of that. I want to make this paint as perfect as I could get it. I'm trying for about 95% correction. Maybe a little bit better than that. Who knows? Nobody can guarantee 100%. I mean, there are too many factors involved to guarantee 100% correction, which is one of the questions that my client actually brought up to me when he dropped the car off. People guarantee 100% correction. They are lying to you because it's not possible ever. Period. I don't care if it's a brand new car, it doesn't matter. It's been touched somewhere and it's never going to be perfect. All you can do as a professional detailer like myself is to try to do your very best. Use isopropyl alcohol to wipe down between passes to remove the polishing oils, and hope that you can achieve the best quality correction that is humanly possible without burning through the clear coat. I mean, that's the bottom line. I specialize in preserving clear coat. After all, it is the UV protection and the general protection for the paint that's underneath the clear coat. So I do not ever guarantee 100% correction because I do not believe that it's a realistic estimate on what I can do. But beyond that, I always like to leave a little bit to the imagination. I work really hard at giving you the best quality paint correction that you can get on the face of the planet. And so with that said, I'm going to try to get everything I can out of this car prior to OptiCoat Pro while using lots of isopropyl alcohol. Can you see these scratches? Let me see. See all the scratches? That's what we're trying to get out. All those hairline scratches. A lot of those are deeper than what a swirl mark would be, and that's why we called them RIDs, random isolated deeper scratches. So my job today is to remove as many of those as I can and enhance the gloss. To me, even though this is brand new, it looks a little bit hazy. I'm going to do my best to not only cut out all those rids and scratches and swirl marks and haziness and marring and all that stuff, but I want to make sure that this thing pops prior to applying OptiCoat Pro. So anyway, I've got it all prepped and ready. All the wheels and barrels and fender wells and tires are all cleaned properly, and those are going to get OptiCoat Pro as well. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to go right in right now in testing a few things to see what is going to work best before I proceed around the vehicle. Alright, boys and girls, I got lucky. I actually was able to, I did 2 steps on the driver's side of the hood, and you can probably tell that it's far glossier because I can see that it looks amazing. What I did was I used the Rupees 21 with the 5-inch backing plate and an orange Buff and Shine 5.5-inch pad with Menzerna FG400 to cut, and then I followed that with a white Buff and Shine 5.5-inch pad with a slower speed with Sonak's Perfect Finish. And so we went from all of that marring that you see, let's see if we can get you some good pictures. See all that scratch, all the scratching there? There we go. Now you can see all that stuff. So we'd go from that, and in true Garry Dean fashion, we're gonna say yucky poo poo ka. Clarity. I know it's retarded, but that's how I roll. Doesn't really bother me whether you like it or not. Just saying. So, you got all those scratches and nastiness right here, and then BAM! Right in the face, it hits you with the clarity. That's what we gotta do. Gotta do it. You gotta love it. That's how I love it. So, wonderful. BAM! Woo! What do you know about that? Hope you didn't fall out of your chair. Anyway, time to proceed with the polishing. 2013 ML350 Mercedes. 2-step paint correction with Opti Pro. Done. Looks amazing. I use my Infinite Performance tire and trim gel on the tires. You can find that at detailedjuice.com. Check out detailedjuice.com for what I consider the most fantastically amazing detailing products on the face of the planet. Like me on Facebook. Remember, when you're looking for sales at detailedjuice.com, I only post coupon codes on detailedjuice.com Facebook page. Facebook, detailedjuice.com. Check out the correction work on that. This thing is damn near perfect. Of course it should be, because it's brand new. They literally got it from the dealership off the truck and drove it straight here, which was probably the smartest thing they could have done. Not a scratch, not a swirl, no marring, just intense clarity, and that's what we want. No high spots on the Opti Pro, nothing. Looks amazing. I put the Opti Pro on all of the glass, all of the paint, the mirrors. I put 3 coats of Opti Pro on the entire front end, the mirrors, the pillars here, and in front of the sunroof on the roof. I used the Rupees 21 with the 5-inch backing plate and orange Buff and Shine pads with Menzerna FG400 to cut the random isolated deeper scratches out of this car. I followed that with Sonak's Perfect Finish, the Rupees 21 with the 5-inch backing plate, and white Buff and Shine pads to give me the gloss that you see before your eyes. I also put Opti Pro on all 4 wheels, cleaned the fender wells, cleaned everything very well, wiped the door jambs out, The interior needed nothing, it's brand new. So, like my Facebook pages, Garry Dean's Premium Custom Detailing, as well as DetailJuice.com. Obviously, I washed and decontaminated using my Infinite Use Detail Juice. And I have an updated version of the Garry Dean wash method. If you don't know what that is, you should Google the Garry Dean wash method. I will have the updated video up very soon. I have improved a couple of things to save even more time, which is what the purpose of the wash method was in the beginning. So, check out DetailJuice.com, PremiumCustomDetailing.com. Thank you so very much for watching this video. Have a wonderful day.